Well, if you're just now joining us, we're back for Game 2. Arkadelphia in the 4A South Regional here in Malvern. Today is a semifinal game taking on Star City Bulldogs. Second game of the day. Just finishing up ahead of us was Monticello, just walking off against the Fountain Lake Cobras. Monticello will be in the championship game this afternoon to face one of these two teams on the field in front of you. Star City warming up, taking their in and out, and the game's about 10 minutes away. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Playoff Badger Baseball 2022. Arkadelphia following up today after a 13-6 win yesterday afternoon in the opening round of the 4A South Regional, knocking off the Crosset Eagles. Joining me here and my partner in crime today is Chris Babb. Chris is bringing all the stats and figures to you. Mr. Babb, it's been a long day for you already. You've had a hat on of a different color already this morning, and now you come in and don the Badger blue, and got a big win from OBU Tigers this morning in the GAC conference tournament at Majestic Park in Hot Springs.
It's a beautiful facility. Our old Badger buddy, Derek Phillips, running the show over there. Got to see him. Great American Conference tournament starts today. Ouachita held on to an 8-3 lead in the top of the ninth, won 8-7. Southern Arkansas and Arkansas Tech were playing the next game, and then Henderson plays this afternoon at 3:4. Well, scratch that time. It's not going to be 3:45. So another long baseball game. But, yeah, fun day of baseball, another beautiful day, and Badgers have a big test in front of them in the Star City Bulldogs.
Yeah, they certainly do. Star City's no stranger to postseason play. They have a very, very solid baseball program year in and year out, and we're going to see some good playoff baseball from them. Recapping yesterday, Arkadelphia did pull out the 13-6 win over Crosset. Arkadelphia scored 13 runs on 10 hits and gave up 2 errors. Crosset scored 6 runs on 3 hits and gave up 5 errors. A masterful performance yesterday by Arkadelphia pitching. Trip Campbell, 4 2/3, gave up only 2 hits. 1 earned run, 4 runs across, only 1 of those earned. He struck out another 9, walked 5, and gave up a 2-run home run. Donovan Witten came in, pitched 2 2/3 of an inning, and then Carter Babb finished things off with a 1 2/3 performance with 1 walk and 0 across the board else given up. So the Badgers really getting it done yesterday. At the plate yesterday, Tate Goodrum was 1 for had a run scored. Carter Babb was 2 for 4 at the plate. He also walked, drove in 2 RBIs. Trip Campbell was 2 for 3 at the plate. He drove in 3 RBIs and 2 walks. Jarrett Bell scored a couple of runs on a couple of walks. Wynn Pentecost had a hit. Tucker Johnson had a hit. Katie Young had a hit. Had actually 2 hits yesterday and an RBI, and Ryan Harris with a hit and an RBI. So Arkadelphia got it done on both sides of the diamond yesterday, offensively and defensively, and they'll see a good Star City team today.
That's right. Let's take a look at, you see on your screen, the bracket for this tournament. Yesterday's first round scores there on the left. Monticello with a 5-4 win over Bauxite. Fountain Lake with a 1-run win. Arkadelphia's win, as Blake just talked about, and then Star City got here with an 8-2 victory over the Nashville Scrappers. That was a game in which it was 3-2 through 6 innings. Nashville had a chance to tie the game, had the bases loaded in the top of the 6th inning, couldn't get a run across, and then Star City added 5 more, and that made it 8-2. That was the final. Earlier in the first semifinal that finished about 30 minutes ago, Monticello advances to the championship game with a 3-2 win over Fountain Lake. That was a sacrifice fly walk-off RBI in the bottom of the 7th inning. Monticello had runners at first and third with one out, got a fly ball to center field that was deep enough to score the run, and that puts Monticello in this evening's championship game scheduled for 6:30. The winner of this game will face Monticello in that championship game. The loser will face Fountain Lake in the next game in what essentially will be a doubleheader for the loser of this game.
Star City is going to be the visiting team. They are the lower seed, so we're going to talk about their starting lineup. The Bulldogs coming in with a 19-6 overall record. They finished their conference as the second seed. They finished second down in the 4A8 with a record of 10-4. Leading off for them will be their pitcher today, Max Reese. Batting second will be their center fielder, Ty Grayson. Batting third will be their first baseman, Cole Branson. Batting cleanup, a right fielder, Dylan McBride. Batting fifth, the second baseman, Logan Rayleigh. Batting sixth is a shortstop, Gavin White. The DH is batting seventh, that's Christian Carnell. Batting in the eighth spot and the third baseman is Hayden Dean. And catching and batting ninth is J.C. Tollison. The left fielder, Austin Williamson, will not be in the batting lineup to start today's game.
And talking to some of the guys, and we're just watching Star City last night in the game against Nashville. Someone said, man, they just look like a baseball team. This is a team that these two teams have faced off in the regional here at Malvern. That happened back in 2015. Arkadelphia was able to get a win. They would end up facing each other in the state championship game in 2015, in which Star City won in extra innings. But these two teams have not faced each other in a while. But they are here for a spot in the regional championship game later tonight.
So already punching their card, both their tickets to Nashville. Both these teams are playing for pride and seeding right now as Arkadelphia is being introduced and taking the field on defense. And here's the way they'll look. As usual, starting at shortstop, and he'll be leading off is Tate Goodrum. Carter Babb going to get the start today on the mound. He's batting second. Trip Campbell, who got the win yesterday for Arkadelphia, is in center field batting third. Jarrett Bell will be playing right field. He's batting in the fourth spot. Wynn Pentecost is playing third base and batting fifth. Donovan Witten today is playing second base, batting sixth. Tucker Johnson over at first base is batting seventh. Katie Young back in the DH spot in the 8-hole, and Ryan Harris will be in right field batting ninth. Behind the plate, again, will be Zane Hill, the sophomore catcher. So no national anthem, as they do that customarily in the first ball game of the day. So we're going to hit the field, and Arkadelphia is already there. Back in their blues again today. White bottoms, the green hats. Is the luck of the Irish again, and Carter Babb is going to see the bump for Arkadelphia. This is what Babb's done this year on the mound. He's pitched in 29 and a third innings. That's 9 games. He actually has a 3-2 record. He has 1 save and 1 save opportunity, giving up 23 hits, 23 runs. 16 of those were earned. He's walked 36, struck out 27, and only hit 1 batter. He has a 3.8 ERA coming in, and it's only gotten better the deeper into the season he's gone. So the lefty junior, who finished things up yesterday for Arkadelphia, will get to start today for the Badgers.
Yeah, going to be, especially with a doubleheader, it's going to be key for pitching for all of these teams, Carter as well, to not go too deep into counts. Carter, we talked last night, has a decent amount of walks on the season, but you're going to have to fill up that strike zone and let your defense work.
And every pitcher but one is eligible for Arkadelphia today. Trip Campbell is not eligible to pitch today. Every other pitcher in our lineup has at least 100 or has a maximum of 110 pitches, including Carter Babb and Donovan Witten, who we did see yesterday, but were held under 35 pitches, so they can pitch a limit today of 110. 3-man crew on the officiating side of home plate. First and third.
Same crew we had last night, just in different positions. They basically rotated to the right. Powell is behind the plate. He's at first time. Gann's at third base, and King behind the plate.
So here we go for playoff baseball, day 2 here from Malvern. Max Reese, the batter, leading off things for the Bulldogs.
Second start this season on this mound for Carter. He got the start against Malvern as well.
First pitch is outside into the screen. No harm, just a fastball that stays outside. Second pitch is a little low. Found the east and west of the zone, just not quite the north and south yet. 2-0 to Reese. A few more noisemakers in the crowd today. There's ball 3, and Babb having a little trouble finding the
got some blue
spot.
Got some blue and white down the first baseline. Also got a little orange and black mixed in there with those blue Star City cowbells. So I guess that stuff you were talking about, root for the conference, not quite.
Don't think it's going to go. No,
go through.
Not quite. I think Fountain Lake is definitely sitting on there.
Yeah, Fountain Lake's sitting in the shade. It's you got a couple of Malvern players with those blue Star City bells. As we not the best start on the mound. Obviously, 4 straight. You got to find that strike zone. Can't get too deep into a hole early in the top of the first inning.
Ty Grayson's the batter now. He's the center fielder. The first pitch is low and maybe a little inside. Ball 2.
He's not going to give the low part of the zone. Those have been right down the middle, just right below the knees. Umpire's not going to give that low strike.
And there's the first strike of the day for Babb, and I think he thought that one was a lot like the last 2, but he finally gets it. So we're missing a.
Didn't have his wristband on. Didn't have his wristband to get the play.
2 balls and a strike now. Runners on first here early in the top of the first. Badgers and Bulldogs. Arkadelphia, Star City. A lot of history. There's a shot that could be 2. It's up to 6-4 and across 3 and not in time. And the speedy Grayson's able to beat out the relay throw from Tate Goodrum to Witten for 1 at second. So the lead runner is gone, and a fielder's choice is the first out on the board today for Arkadelphia. Branson now the hitter. Cole Branson, the first baseman, another right-hander, facing the left-handed Babb. Babb from the stretch. Good throw over. Nice move. And he's going to call a balk. Coach Lowe's going to want some explaining on that. I didn't see anything that he did wrong. We do have a very low vantage point, so it's hard to see what the first base umpire would see. Obviously, we're almost opposite from where he is, and he's saying that Babb motioned toward the plate.
He's saying when he went back with his leg, he went too far back towards second base, basically, rather than just straight up.
So now you've got a runner at second base. Here's the pitch. Strike. No, it's not a strike. Must have been outside a little. It's going to be a little more hostile today than it was yesterday. You've got a lot of folks rooting against us. Same amount, or if not fewer, rooting for us, but certainly a larger crowd against us. There's ball 2, slow and scooped up nicely by Hill. Fountain Lake, Malvern, and everyone moving in from Star City for the weekend is beating and banging on everything they can find in the ballpark. There's a strike. 2 balls and a strike now to Branson. Runners at second base. There's 1 out here, top of the first, no score from Malvern. 4A South Regional semifinal game, number 2. Foul back, strike 2. Count even now. Of the 3 Arkadelphia starting pitchers that have started the majority of the year, Babb does have the most base runners. He's pitched his way out of jams recently. but he'll put a few runners on, and good thing so far is it's just not been a compilation of strung together base hits or strung together walks for that matter. And he's able to get himself out with minimal damage. He's got one out here in the top of the first and a 2-2 count on the batter and a runner at second base. Here's the pitch. It's popped up and out of play. That one's going to get into the parking lot, and looks like the bleacher bangers from Malvern High School are going after it. Not exactly sure what they reward for foul balls, but those guys are on a mission when there's one. I hope they have their chigger and tick spray, because there's a lot of going in the woods after those foul balls. Here's the 2-2 again, and it's checked at but not going is Branson, so count now full, 3-2. Cleanup hitter Dylan McBride is on deck for Star City. Get right back up the middle. It's going to be one. Tate fields it to his left and throws high, but the tag is made by Johnson. Nice play over there on the high throw from Goodrum. Johnson able to go up the ladder and get it and make the tag in front of first for the second out. The runner advances to third.
Tucker with a nice job coming off the bag, making the catch of the high. It was through him down the line, so he was able to make that catch and make the tag.
Two away here. Right-handed McBride, the fourth batter of the inning, all batting from the right side for the Bulldog lineup. Low ball one. Leadoff hitter Reese reached on a walk. He's over at third on a ground ball out and a balk here in the inning. Good block there by Hill as he keeps that one in front of him, keeping the runner at third.
Boy, we talk about every time we play here that a pass ball is an automatic run, and that was a great block by Zane Hill of one that a breaking ball that just didn't quite get there.
Pass balls in this ballpark are going to score, or going to advance one, and a lot of times from first maybe even to third. So it's going to be a catcher's competition here today. Who can keep. There's a good second strike, swung on and missed. Might have got a piece of it, but Hill's able to hang on for strike two. So now a strike away from being out of the inning is Carter Babb. 2-2, the hitter, 2 outs. Runner at third base, 90 feet away, no score here in the early going. From the windup, kicks and deals, and that one inside just a little bit. The vantage point from our camera is just to the right of where our broadcast table is. We're almost looking right at the back calf of the batter. Strike three, swing and a miss. Babb went up the ladder, got him swinging out of a jam. Nobody scores here, top of the first. Badgers coming up.
You mentioned he get himself in some jams and get himself out of some jams, and that's exactly what happened there. Be interesting. I'm going to listen for how many pitches he threw. I'm guessing he went upwards of 20-something on that one.
Yeah, I would say probably mid to early 20s.
Or later. Or
maybe
more.
Even later. Hopefully not. He's got 110 under his that he can go today, and we'll see if he can. That's the thing about it. Normally from day to day, if a pitcher goes over 35, he just can't go the next day, but he can pitch as many as 110 in a day. So we could actually see as many as 50 or so pitches from both Carter and possibly DeWitt if we needed to.
Yeah, it's just, there's no right way, wrong way to handle when you have a doubleheader and when you have pitch count to have to go. You hope your starter can go deep, so it gives you more options later in the day.
Max Reese is the starting pitcher for Star City. Lanky right-hander, a little bit of a low slot delivery, looking like he's got a little bit of a snap to that wrist, something that Arkadelphia has not seen since Wesley Campbell. He kind of emulates Wesley Campbell's delivery a little bit from Fountain Lake, who the Badgers are way too familiar with.
21 or 31?
So the top of the lineup, Goodrum, Babb, and Campbell. We'll see for Arkadelphia here in the bottom of the first. No score.
21 pitches that inning for Carter, so
That's good.
not as many as I thought
bad.
it was.
About what Trip Campbell did, I think, to a T is his first inning yesterday. And it just takes a little bit of calming down, a little bit of nerves. There always is, playoff baseball. I don't know about you, but I had nerves yesterday, and I wasn't even playing the game.
Yeah, and talking to everybody, players, everybody, and watching the Nashville Star City game after we started, Johnny Wilson, our buddy Johnny and Frank, Johnny mentioned it too. It's just that regional baseball game, that first one at regional, players don't have that very often. You don't have that any until this time of year. And, everything rides on one game, and baseball is not a game designed for normal things to happen when everything's riding on one game. And so, there's going to be nerves. There are going to be nerves, and that's to be expected, and it's how you handle them. And so you get to that point of last night, you get that win. Today you're playing for seeding and trying for a championship.
It's no more competitive than high school. College, pros, you get games of 3 series, you get super regionals. Right here, it's win one or go home. And Goodrum going to stand in for the Badgers, and he takes strike one. Tate on the year is batting .419. Swings at strike 2. So we know that Reese has a fastball. He's got the motion for even a little bit of a slider. Not sure. That one's a fastball high. He has a pitch to burn, and he goes upstairs. 1-2 to the Badger shortstop. Ball 2 is low and away. Goodrum going to Ouachita Baptist University in the fall. Here's the 2-2. It's fouled back out of play towards the Arkadelphia dugout. The Badgers in the third base dugout. That's the home dugout. Star City in the first base. Star City in their solid white uniforms and the royal blue. There's a shot out into left field that's going to be an easy basket catch or easy catch out there for the left fielder, Austin Wilkerson. So Arkadelphia is one down here in the bottom of the first. I thought you guys were world renowned, Bab, and he just called out Carter Bob.
No, I think he said Barb, and that was one of the funny when he was those fundraiser things they do. In fact, Christy Smith, his teacher at Goza, one of those fundraiser years when you get the backpacks and all that stuff, they misspelled his name.
Yeah.
And so his name in that class was Barb the rest of the year. So,
Barb.
Yeah. So
well, 2 balls and no strikes to Carter.
Barb.
There's a ground ball hit to first base. It's gathered over there and played unassisted for the second out. Cole Branson over there with second out of the inning. Arkadelphia making contact, but right at Bulldogs so far. Campbell now standing in. Trip .516 on the year. Fantastic year from the plate. Left-hander, .585 on base percentage. 3 home runs and 35 RBIs.
Big healthy cut at that one. Got the top half of the ball, or well, not top half, top fourth of the ball, and fouled it back. And big cut. You can tell the right fielder's playing pretty deep. Center field playing deep as well.
Pitch is low and away outside. He tried the outside corner on the lefty and missed. 2 balls and a strike now. Reese working quickly. 3 balls and a strike now. Really the only time he's gotten behind an Arkadelphia hitter so far. Check swing. He appeals. No swing. The third base umpire says no swing, and so it's ball 4 or base on balls.
Tripp wasn't quite sure if he went. He was hoping he checked up. Wasn't quite sure if he did or not. And then when they checked down to third base umpire, he did give the safe signal that he did not go around.
JB, the hitter now, he's batting in the 4-hole, batting .250 on the year. First pitch is high. JB scored yesterday on a couple of walks. There's a shot out into center field. It's going to be an easy can of corn out there for the center fielder. So Arkadelphia making good contact, not able to put anyone across. Every time the ball was contacted, it was an out, and the only base runner was a stranded walk from Trip Campbell. So the Badgers go quietly here in the bottom of the first, and no score through 1 here in Arkadelphia. We're going to take a break here from Malvern. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Do allow me to learn to fight my own battles. Don't try to relive your youth through me.
Do allow me to make mistakes and learn from them.
Don't allow me to quit before I complete the activity. I need to learn perseverance.
Do support me and come to watch me play and perform and be my biggest fan regardless of the outcome.
Don't encourage me to specialize in a specific activity or sport.
Don't talk bad about my teammates and coaches.
Do teach me to respect my coaches, instructors, and officials.
Do understand that education-based activities are more about just winning and losing. They are about learning.
We're back for the second inning here from Malvern. 4A South Regional. Carter Babb faced 4 hitters in the top of the first inning, gave up a leadoff walk and then closed the door. And so the 5-hole hitter Logan Rayleigh, who's a second baseman, we'll see first pitch, and it's in the dirt, comes back over here in front of us for ball 1. So Babb's had an inning to get the cobwebs dusted off, and he comes back with strike 1. Ball 1. 1-1 to Logan Rayleigh. Another righty. Ground ball is going to be hit through on the right side under the diving Witten to his left, and there's the first base hit of the game, and that's Logan Rayleigh out into right field for a leadoff single.
He found that hole in the right side. Donovan playing straight up second. Went right through that seeing eye single through the right side between Tucker and Donovan, and gets the first hit of the game.
Gavin White now, shortstop, comes up with another leadoff runner on. Nobody out here in top of the second. Being held on by Tucker over at first. Strike 1 to start the at-bat. Taking his time outside the box is White. Now he steps in. Carter from the stretch, the runner's off and running. Throw down by Hill is not in time, just to the left of the bag, and the runner's safe at second.
Yeah, I went with the high leg kick on that one, and the runner was off on the move. Sometimes he goes with the slide step, went the high leg kick, and that was going to be a stolen base right off the bat. So now runner in scoring position with nobody out for the Bulldogs.
And a ball, so the count even now at a ball and a strike. And just missing the curveball, did not cover enough of the plate for the call, so 2 balls and a strike now. Spinning around, not making a throw, keeping the runner close at second. Goodrum behind the runner at second. And that was a close one that Babb wanted, did not get. 3-1 now. Umpire's going to make them, apparently going to make them throw pretty close. There's strike two, run the count full. Christian Carnell on deck, he's the designated hitter. And ball four is in the dirt. So runners now at first and second. Carnell the batter. That's the second walk. Of the game for Babb. Looks like we may have our first left-handed hitter of the day for the Bulldogs. Runners at first and second now. Tucker Johnson even with the bag at first. Pentecost even with the bag, maybe a step behind at third. Double play depth up the middle for the Badgers. Straight away in the outfield for the left-handed hitting Carnell. And strike one, ball one, 1-1 count. Swung through and missed for strike two. That one might have got just a piece of ball. Nice hanging on by Hill.
Yeah, I think it was got just enough of the bat to be a foul ball. Nice job by Zane Hill of holding on to that one.
Big pitch right here. Babb needs an out, and we'll see if he's coming into, and he does. Nice breaking pitch, and it freezes the designated hitter Carnell for the first out of the inning. So second strikeout of the inning is looking, and one out on the board now for Hayden Dean, the third baseman, hitting in the 8-hole with runners now at first, still at first and second. Getting down in the bottom of the lineup, you really want to get these outs when they're present themselves. Good job of collecting in the outside pitch is Hill.
Making Zane work a lot in this first 1 1/3 inning.
Well, it's going to be a long day if you're a catcher on the winning teams here today, because it is a warm day. Sun shining, not a cloud in the sky, not a lot of breeze, so it's going to be there's a strike. Nice recovery there by Babb. It's going to be a long day for catchers. It's all going to be a back-to-back affair for whoever wins this game. The earlier game at least gets a break. Chance to go grab a little lunch. This is a back-to-back affair for the winner of this one. Ball and a strike. One down here in the top of the second. Another curveball stays low. Babb's been able to find the curve on a couple of pitches. The rest he's still trying to work out the kinks on.
Having to play catch up and play from behind too many batters early.
There's ball three. So 3-1. Carter spent a lot of energy yesterday. Had a great day at the plate. Great day out in the field. Come in and did a great job at the mound. And there's a ball hit deep to center. Going back and settling under it is Trip Campbell. There's a throw in. It's going to be a long one. It's cut off. Not cut off. It makes it in just right of the bag. And so the runners both advance. 2 down now. So the long fly ball to center moves the runners, but no other damage. And so now a chance to either get out of this again with a runner at third or give up the first run of the game, and it's J.C. Tollison, the catcher.
Tollison got the start on the mound last night and got the win for the Bulldogs.
And he starts Tollison off with a strike to get ahead in the at-bat. Get deeper into the playoffs, there's not going to be a lot of big inning potential like there was maybe last night or even in the regular season. Arkadelphia going to need to keep the mistakes to a minimum and pitch in front and let your defense work. There's a good pitch that just misses low, runs the count even, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, he tried to get Tollison go after that one, started the breaking ball a little bit low, got to try to get it to fall off, and Tollison did a nice job of not going after that one.
Here's the 1-1. Strike two. Nice. Semi-fastball. That was kind of a fastball with a little bit left off of it. And it's in between for Tollison, and he watches it for strike two. Pitching ahead now is Babb, a runner at second and third base. No score, 2 outs here. And that one just missing, stayed up a little bit. Babb evens it at 2-2. Badgers will send Pentecost, Witten, and Johnson to the mound in the bottom of the second. Their old good friend Benny Lee Arnold showing up. 3-2 now. First base is open, but this is also the 9-hole hitter, and Babb would really like to get him out here in the second. He's gone back to the windup, and here's the delivery. Fouled it away, and it hits the lights just over the.
Almost had our Roy Hobbs moment.
We did. Well, all the lights are on in the outfield, but at least
a couple of
right and right center light poles are on. Everything else looks like it's taking a break. Here's the 3-2 again. And that one's going to be hit hard into the left field. It's going to score one. Bell up with the throw. It's cut off. And the runner stays at third, so Star City strikes first on a 2-out base hit by the 9-hole hitter Tollison. And it's 1-0 Bulldogs.
Yeah, 3-2. You can't. You don't want to walk him. You got to put it there. And Tollison did a nice job of getting on top of that one, driving into left field for an RBI base hit.
Bell's able to get it in quick enough. It had enough steam on it where the runner from second could not advance. The throw was cut by Pentecost, and so now runners at the corners, and we've got a pinch runner in for the catcher Tollison. Or excuse me, a courtesy runner. Back to the top of the lineup is the pitcher Reese. He walked in his first at bat to start the game. Fouls the first pitch back and out of play. Pitch is low in the dirt, picked up by Hill. Ball and a strike. There's one 1-1 pitch, apparently just a bit outside. 2 balls and a strike now. Courtesy runner is still over at first base, has not attempted to make the steal yet. We'll see if he goes here. Johnson holding him on. The left-handed Babb from the stretch has got him in his sights. Pitch is up and popped up to the first baseman, and it's an easy play for Tucker Johnson for the third out. So Babb gives up one, but otherwise gets out of the inning probably as good as possible with those 2 Bulldogs stranded at the corners, and after 1.5, Arkadelphia trails 1-0.
Up safe and healthy. So we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you.
So talk back here. You can do it if you try.
All right. Well, we're back to Malvern. Bottom of the second on its way. Arkadelphia gave up a run in the top of the second. Star City Bulldogs leading the Arkadelphia Badgers 1-0 here, bottom of the second. And Wynn Pentecost, Donovan Witten, and Tucker Johnson due up here in the bottom of the second for Arkadelphia. Beautiful day here, mid to low 80s. Little bit of a breeze, but not really enough to pick the flags up. So just a high sunny day with pale blue skies, and spring is here and summer's on the way. Badgers looking to better their seed in the state tournament later in the month and advance to the finals of the regional tournament here later this evening. Pentecost leads things off for Arkadelphia. Win a .339 hitter on the year. Mile high and foul out of play. Right behind the press box. .385 right down the middle in the batter's eye in center field. .335 in the alleys. .310. And there's a hot shot at the shortstop, and it hits him in the chest and bounces off into short left center field for a leadoff hit for Wynn Pentecost.
Boy, Lou got all of that one. Shortstop was have to go back for it anyway. Had him on his heels, and as soon as that ball hit the dirt, it skipped up and caught him right in the city, in that Star City on the jersey, and not much he could do with that.
Nice piece of hitting there. Squared that pitch up nicely, and it's the leadoff runner for Arkadelphia here in the second, and Donovan Witten the batter. And that one hit him in the shoulder, so Pentecost was off and running and looked like he might have even been squaring around the bunt.
He was squaring around the bunt, and he pulled it back, thankfully, because if he hadn't pulled that back, he'd be strike one, but he did thankfully pull the bat back and in essence does his job by getting Pentecost to second base.
So a nice job of manufacturing some early base runners here. Arkadelphia with a leadoff single and followed up by a no-out hit by pitch. So Arkadelphia with runners on here, and once again it's the middle and bottom of the order that seems to be getting things started for the Badgers early. Tucker Johnson, the hitter. Johnson had a hit yesterday and plated 3 RBIs for Arkadelphia, so another chance to add to some RBIs for some postseason RBIs for the senior first baseman. First pitch fouled out of play off to the right. Reese from the stretch with runners at first and second. The right-handed pitcher looking over his shoulder. Pitch is high up the ladder. Ball and strike now to Tucker.
17 pitches in the first inning for Reese, showing that he's going to throw more than an out. Carter ended up at 29 pitches for the second inning, so he's at 50 pitches through 2 innings.
Tucker, a .283 hitter, but he's .466 on base, so he does know how to get on base. Take strike 2.
I think Tucker was bracing for that one not to break in, and that was going to end up hitting him, but that was a nice breaking ball by Reese to get that one to break in the zone, just kind of buckled Johnson's knees.
Behind the runner at first is the first baseman for Star City. Big hole on the left side now, as the shortstop is helping keep Pentecost honest at second. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Tucker. Here's the pitch. And it's poked into right field. Is that going to get foul? It is. Is anyone going to get there? No. It's a blooper out into foul territory in right, and nice gesture there by Tucker, just a little bit outside the line.
Good hustle by the first base, second base, and right field for Star City. But we mentioned a lot of territory and foul ground here at Morrison Park. So depending on where the right fielder's playing, balls like that are a lot of times outs are catchable, just not that time.
Tucker going to sky one into left center. It should be playable. Coming in is the left fielder. He's going to make the play on the run. Nobody can advance as the lazy fly ball brings him in 2/3 of the way to second base, and the out is the first of the inning for Arkadelphia.
I think Arkadelphia is lucky that ball ended up getting caught, because that was in a spot where you could have had an unconventional double play just because Wynn would have had to stay close at the bag, and Donovan would not have been able to get to second. That could have been a weird play. Thankfully for Arkadelphia, and even as weird as it sounds in that situation, the catch was made.
Yeah, that's a textbook double the runner off, because he doesn't know where to go and doesn't know if it's going to be caught. KD was 2 for 4 yesterday, count now even to the DH, sophomore DH, at a ball and a strike. KD hit the gap a couple of times yesterday, and he swings at a low, very low pitch there for strike 2. So he's behind now. A ball and 2 strikes. Juice Harris on deck for the Badgers. Reese looking at second, not paying much attention to first. Foul ball over to the right side in front of the Star City dugout. Pentecost will steal a base. And we all know, we talked about this, anything past the catcher here is at least a bag. Swing and a miss, so strike 3 and the second out of the inning for Arkadelphia. The Badgers holding with both those runners at first and second, not able to move up. So what was runners first and second with no out is now runners in first and second with 2 outs. And Ryan Harris, the senior right fielder, with a chance to extend the inning. Inside and high, up in towards the face of Harris as he spins away. Ball outside. Harris on base percentage just shy of 400. So in a 3-0 count, that's going to be a good chance Ryan's going to be taking here, and that would load the bases for the top of the lineup. Tate Goodrum's on deck for Arkadelphia.
It was the 9 hole that drove in the run in the top of the second for Star City. Same opportunity here.
And Ryan taking all the way, strike 1. 3 balls and a strike now. We'll see if he's got another take in him. Coach Lowe over at third, Coach Roop over at first base today. And strike 2 is high and questionable.
Well, you wondered when one of these pitchers was going to try to go upstairs in the zone. The umpire has not called the low strike below the knees, so you figure his zone is a little bit higher, and that's the first ball we've seen at the top part of that zone, right around the chest, around the letters.
Ball is fouled. Ripping it down the left side and foul is Harris. You're right, Chris. It's going to be a bottom of the letters to the top of the kneecaps instead of that, what we see a lot of times, that belt to just below the kneecaps. We'll see if he stays consistent with it. 3-2 to Harris. He does about the same thing, maybe a little more out in front of that one as he fouls it hard down the left side. So does the pitcher give him something to hit, or does he
He's been around.
take
He
a
might
chance?
have a breaking ball.
And he does. It's hit to the third baseman. It gets right between his legs. Coming up, rounding third is Pentecost. He's going to score. Ball game is tied. Ryan Harris with a base hit here in the bottom of the second. I call it a base hit. The scorers, especially a Malvern scorer, is probably going to call it an E5. But either way, it's 1-1 Arkadelphia.
That's what you do. You
tied it up.
Put the ball in play, trying to make a play. The third baseman decided to charge that one, tried on the short hop, but he stayed with that breaking ball and got on top of it, put it in play, tied up the game. The 9-hole hitters have driven in both runs here in the second inning.
So Tate flew out to the left fielder to start the game. And takes ball one to start the at-bat here in the bottom of the second. There's a ground ball hit to the third baseman. He's going to chest it. At this time, he's able to gather it in and make the force at third base. And so the Badgers even things up here in the bottom of the second. After two, we're tied here from Malvern. Arkadelphia 1, Star City 1. We'll be back after this.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
Not sure about those two.
I've been meaning to ask you.
This is tougher than I thought.
Is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
I hope not, because alcohol can lead you to say things and do things that you really wish you hadn't.
Isn't this what you're supposed to say?
I know.
So if any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't.
I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you.
Ryan.
Yeah?
So start the conversation even before they're teenagers.
Good idea.
For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
So we talked about yesterday about common opponents, of which Arkadelphia and Crossett had none. Well, Arkadelphia and Star City had none until we played Crossett yesterday, and Arkadelphia beat Crossett, obviously, to get here today. Star City split the conference season with the Eagles this year, so not a lot to gain from that. Both scores were fairly similar. These appear to be two very evenly matched ball clubs here today. Babb back out for his third inning of work. He's got a couple of strikeouts on the day, a couple of walks, and a couple of base hits given up. Ty Grayson now reached on a fielder's choice back in the first inning. And not being squeezed just a bit here. Carter not real proud of that, as are the Badger followers. Ball two now. Here's the 2-0. It's high. Ball three. Three balls, no strikes now, starting things off here in the top of the third. Pitch is low. Actually, it hits him, I believe, in his left foot. So either way, he's on base, and this third inning starts off very similar to both others in that they're going to be a leadoff runner on. Coach Lowe's going out, but he's not going to get him. He's going to talk to him. He doesn't want anyone but himself and Carter Babb. And I think that's a very noble thing. He knows the early inning struggles, each of these innings, is not anything other than Carter staying focused, and that's all he's going to do is help him regain that focus. I want to give a shout out. Got one of my old school friends in the house, Benny Lee Arnold from Bauxite. He's watching the girls over next door, watching his Lady Miners over there. I want to throw a shout out to another old classmate listening in from Northwest Arkansas, Brooke Deaton. Thanks, Brooke, for listening. Hope you enjoy Badger baseball. Cole Branson now grounded out to the shortstop. Last time up. He's got a runner on first, and ball one is outside. Leadoff runner at first base. Tucker Johnson holding him on. Throw over is got him on his stomach going in. Dirtying up that white uniform. 1-0. Again thrown over to first. One 0 to the batter, Branson. He's the first baseman. He's 0 for 1 today. The 1-0 pitch is fouled back. The umpire going to go back down the hill and get this one. I bet he doesn't do too many more of those today in those black shiny shoes.
He waved the on-deck batter off, and if you walk down that hill and up it, you might say, I don't know if I'm going to wave him off anymore.
I don't know that I want to do that in these black shiny shoes and this black Darth Vader outfit I've got on here. That one's a close play at first. And pretty good move over there by Babb, just late. And the 1-0 is fouled back out of play. On deck for Star City is McBride, the right fielder. He struck out his first time up. Getting a pretty good lead over there is Grayson. Pitches ball 2, and a little fake throw, and from catcher Hill sends him back. We'll see if he's off and running here with 2-2. Yeah, he is not. Ball blocked up there. Nice block by Hill as runner was not going. Count goes full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Not sure how many full counts he's had, but there's an awful lot of 3-2 pitches. Or 3-2 counts.
And there's ball 4. So 2 runners on again for Star City, and Babb having a little bit of struggles here early in the third. Not getting a close pitch early in the count, and clearing his head a little with some close pickoff throws over to first, not in time, and at the end the Star City batter is patient and draws the walk. Dylan McBride, right fielder, cleanup hitter. He is 0 for 1. He struck out in the first. Ball's in the dirt, and it's offered, so it is strike 1.
Yeah, didn't pull the bat back. And a nice block by Zane Hill. It's a lot of traffic through there when you have a batter and squares around a bunt and then doesn't pull it back. So a lot of stuff going on there. Good block by Zane to keep those runners at first and second.
Nobody out here, top of the third. Badgers tied it up in the bottom of the second. It's 1-1 here in the 4A South Regional. Ground ball is hit. Tate going to go way to his right. He's not able to get there, holding on the runner, leaving that big hole on the left side, and it pays off with a run scoring from second base for Star City.
Yeah, that was just a textbook. You know, Tate was getting back in his spot. It was a hit and run, and the batter did a nice job of putting that ball in the hole. It was when Pentecost was playing even with the bag, and it was just in a spot where nobody was going to be able to get to it.
Logan Rayleigh singled in the second inning to lead off the second inning. So now runners at first and second, nobody out. Bulldogs retake the lead 2-1. And first pitch to Rayleigh, strike one. Rayleigh, the second baseman. Still that big hole there on the left side. 0-1 pitch is low. Star City been patient, taking what Babb will give them. Third hit of the day. He's off, both runners off and running. It's strike two, but both runners move up.
Yeah, they went off on the move on that one as well, that high leg kick. And they went on the first move. Eliminates the double play.
At least the traditional route, Arkadelphia has been known to throw some runners out untraditionally this year for double plays. We'll see if Badgers can get there's a ground ball that's going to be knocked down by Pentecost. It's going to score another run, get into left field, and Star City now up 3-1, and still nobody out. Runners at the corners.
Hard hit ball to right there. Pentecost dove and got a glove on it. Just couldn't quite corral it. Nice effort by Wynn to try to make a stop on that one.
That's going to be the day for Babb.
It's going to be, looks like Tate Goodrum's going to come in and pitch for Arkadelphia. So Donovan Whitten most likely will move to shortstop. Ryan Harris to second base. And Carter Babb will move out to the outfield.
Right field goes Carter. Goodrum to the mound. Senior shortstop getting some mid-game action here. Don't be surprised if you see a full gamut of Arkadelphia pitchers, not to rule out even a couple of underclassmen seeing their way if things continue, or as things continue for Arkadelphia.
Yep, first of two games today, regardless of what happens. And so you got pitches, but offensively, you're going to have to get some things going like they have in the past few games. A lot of baseball left, but no outs here in the top of the third. And Arkadelphia's, I believe there's runners at first and third.
Yeah,
first and third, nobody out for Tate coming in with Arkadelphia trailing 3-1 top third.
Gavin White will be the hitter. He walked back in the second inning. Shortstop, and so we're about ready to go back to action. Taking his warm-up pitches is Goodrum. He says he's ready, so we'll resume the top of the third here. 2 runs across already for the Bulldogs, and they've got runners at the corners and nobody out, and shortstop Gavin White steps into the box. Goodrum from the stretch to start things off. Taking a look around, coming set. Here's the pitch. It hits the batter, so the bases are loaded. One pitch, one more runner on, and not the start that Tate wanted. Christian Carnell now, he's the designated hitter. Struck out looking back in the second.
Umpire didn't get any help with that ball that was back there, the on-deck batter.
No.
Just went up to the box.
Christian Carnell now. The ball that's hit to Ryan Harris. He leaps and makes the catch, doubles him up at second base. What a play. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
That's what Arkadelphia needed. That was a well-struck ball by Carnell. The leaping Ryan Harris was able to make the catch right at the top of his leap. Got the double play. Whitten was covering. The runners were off on contact at second base anyway. Third base probably as well. Second base runner just got doubled up, and that's what the little shot in the arm Arkadelphia needed.
4-6 double play.
There's your unconventional double play. Blake.
There's the unconventional double play. That's just what Arkadelphia needed. Flying out to center field was Hayden Dean. He's the hitter now with 2 outs and runners at the corners. And just as Arkadelphia had two on and no outs, so did the Bulldogs, and Arkadelphia quickly with a couple of outs. This may be a closer game than we realize. These two teams, oh my goodness, that's a strike 9 out of 10 pitches. That's pretty good spot, but consistent is right at the knees, has not been called. You know, Chris, the problem a lot of times with umpiring and our understanding of umpiring is the strike zone is not determined by the umpire. The strike zone, now what he calls as a strike is,
right,
but the strike zone is a strike zone.
It's the most subjective, objective thing.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
It varies, and this umpire is not given that low zone.
He's not
at all.
There's a shot out into left. Jarrett with a late break, and he's not able to get to it. The run scores from third base. Runners advance from first to second, and there's a 2-out single from Dean here in the top of the third.
Well, Dean didn't get all of that, and it worked out good for Star City. Just got jammed on the inside, caught on the inside part of the bat, the down towards the handle, but it was just enough to get in that no man's land.
Single and an RBI for J.C. Tollison back in the second. Chance to add to the scoring here as 3 are across for Star City. It's a 4-1 lead. Top of the third. A lot of ball left to play today. 1-0 pitch. Goodrum looking back at second a time or two. Time called. Way late to be calling time to a pitcher ready to deliver. That's tough. Pitch is on the inside half for strike 1. Ball and a strike now. Tollison. Great play by Juice Harris to climb the ladder and get a couple outs here, but Badgers need one more. Tollison inside. Spins away and takes it. Ball's high inside, ball 3 now. 3 balls and a strike. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Top of the third, 4-1, Star City. Strike 2, that one. Hard to tell from here. It looks like the pitch. It looks like Tollison may be right on top of the plate.
Just thinking the same thing. That is not. It's almost unhittable, but you can't tell where he's standing. But that inside part, the umpire has liked that inside strike.
Strike 3 swinging, and Tate's out of the inning. But Arkadelphia gives up 3 in the inning to trail going into the bottom of the 3rd inning, 4-1 here in Malvern. We'll keep it here just for the half inning as Arkadelphia out of the dugout, everyone out. They're getting themselves together. They know what's in front of them, and good job by Coach Lowe gathering them all out. And Badgers have a lot of fight in them left today. They're going to make a game of it here. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, and back out for another inning of work is Max Reese. He's given up a run today on a couple of singles. Ryan Harris making that big play back in the top of the inning was responsible for Badger run as he singled in Donovan Witten back. Or excuse me, I think it was Wynn Pentecost actually that scored that run back in the bottom of the 2nd. Babb will lead things off, followed by Campbell and Bell.
Saw Coach Lowe and that as the umpire went to get a drink at the fence, Coach Lowe talking to him, putting his hands down around the knees, just talking about, trying to figure out some of those low strikes. You don't see very many umpires have that high strike zone. Most of them that you see go from, you mentioned it earlier, belt to just below the knees. But this one has got a higher strike zone, and it's going to force pitchers to bring it up, not too high, but it has been consistent. It's one of those things that as a pitcher you have to adapt to it, but it is not something that pitchers are used to by any means. Now, saying that, Reese has not been in those situations yet where you see him having to find that zone. Babb in the first 2 1/3, he was getting behind batters and hoping to get called that low strike call. See if Reese is able to bring it up or if he starts having the same type of issues.
Well, and those higher strikes are going to be more driven line drive type pitches, whereas those lower strikes are going to induce more ground balls, more pop-ups. So we're already seeing some hard hit balls, and we'll see Babb here in the bottom of the 3rd. Babb's 0 for 1. Count now even 1-1. In close is the 3rd baseman, Hayden Dean. He's up in the grass at 3rd.
Possibly anticipating a bunt, but, well, he's still playing in front of the bag.
2 balls, 2 strikes now. He's going to stay up there pretty close. He may walk it back a little bit now and back even with the bag. He may work his way up, but Carter not going to get the bunt sign with 2 strikes. And strike 3, swinging. Trip Campbell walked his first time up in the 1st.
Number 12, Trip Campbell.
Tripp going to see the right-hander for his 2nd time of the day. Not much to hit that first time up. Still not much to hit. 1-0 way outside and high.
Yeah, you kind of figure that most coaches aren't going. They're going to try to throw around. You see if the catcher sets up outside. That one was on the outside part of the plate. They're going to go outside and see if Tripp will try to go fishing for something.
Yeah, they're not going to give him anything in the wheelhouse on purpose anyway. Well, Tripp wanted that pitch probably more than he was patient to see where it ended up. 2 balls and a strike. Ball 3 is way out of the zone and high. JB's behind him. He flew out to center field his first time up. And ball 4. Tripp's on base for a 2nd time today. via walk, and short walk out to the mound from, or no, defensive signs from the catcher, Tollison. So 1 out now. JB's up with, again, Tripp at first base. Campbell's got 9 stolen bases on the year in the regular season. And there's one that is just nabbed on the way outside by Tollison. That one not far from getting away and advancing the runner, but it's just ball 1. There's a strike, and it is high. That ball is at above belt level and takes some getting used to. Ball and a strike. Pitch over and to first base, not in time.
Coach Roop down there at first base had to dive out of the way in case the first baseman wasn't going to get that one.
Off and running is Campbell. He's going to draw a throw, and he's not in. He is in there under the throw. Very close play there is Tollison with a throw, and it looked like the umpire was going to ring him up.
He took a couple of steps towards the bag and ready for the punch and went safe.
Yeah,
so.
I think he
he took that little crow hop. You know, the outfielder get the crow hop before they come throw. He was ready for the crow hop before a big punch out, and
I think the ball beat him, but he got under the tag, and JB swings it higher than probably what he wanted to for strike 2. Foul back to the screen. So a runner in scoring position, that's where it starts for Arkadelphia. We're 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd, trailing 4-1. Back and forth are the second and shortstop holding the runner. Second baseman going to stay there, and there's a ball that's hit and dropped.
Dropped it.
And
he was off the bag, wasn't he?
It looked like, boy, it was hit on a missile to the third baseman. He caught the ball and it dropped out, almost it looking like is in a transfer, but it froze Bell enough for him to be able to recover and make the throw over. Then it looked like it pulled the first baseman off the bag. Roop is talking to the first base umpire. He doesn't seem to be.
I think it may have been one of those. Coach Roop was hoping that someone might think that he was off the bag, but
unfortunate. That one's going to be trouble. It's going to get, and it's caught over the left shoulder by the shortstop, and things are just falling right for Star City today.
Yeah, that Star City got a base hit with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd inning when the batter got handcuffed, and that hit on the fist was able to find a hole. Not so fortunate for Arkadelphia there, as that fisted was just in the reach of the shortstop, who did a nice job of making the play.
So tough break for the Badgers. Hard hit ball by Bell to third is dropped and then recovered on a questionable play at first, and then one that's hit 9 out of 10 times is going to fall, as hangs up just enough for the shortstop to make a catch over his shoulder out into short center. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Badger Baseball on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com.
Everyone's known for something. Ours is simple. At the Southwest Auto Collection and iDriveSWA.com, you get the absolute lowest price on America's best brands: Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, GMC, Buick, and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The best selection and the lowest prices guaranteed. And we deliver anywhere in the state, plus tires for life. It really is that simple. Visit us today, the Southwest Auto Collection, I-30 exit 78 in Arkadelphia, or online at iDriveSWA.com.
We go to the top of the 4th inning. I was going to give you the line score of 4-run, but it's not really updated on the scoreboard. We knew the score, though. 4-1 Star City, as the Bulldogs get 3 in the top of the 3rd inning. Arkadelphia threatens. but can't get a run across, and that's where we are now. Tate Goodrum comes out for his first full inning of work as he came in relief of Carter Babb in the top of the third.
Max Reese will start things off. He's the leadoff hitter. He's walked and flew out to Tucker Johnson, or actually grounded out to Tucker. So he will be due up. He's pitcher of record so far for Star City. Goodrum pitching from the stretch. Tate stays in the stretch, doesn't go to a windup. See a lot of pitchers, especially pitchers that don't pitch a lot. They just find it comfortable to stay in that stretch, so that someone that doesn't get as much mound time as a starter and doesn't normally pitch is already in that groove of coming set and not balking, and that's what he chose to do.
That pitch, that 1-0 pitch, went behind Reese. Look at those pants. I don't know if you got a good shot of them at home, but those are player from Mississippi State. That did catch him.
He might have wanted the extra padding from that little thin layer of pants on that. He looks cool, though. I guess if that's your thing.
There's a player from Mississippi State that wore those. I can't remember the last, and it just kind of.
He wore them halfway up the thigh. He was a pitcher, and he got shell-shocked his last outing. Yeah, there's some trends that I guess look to be catching on. Those, not so much.
I see him more than Donovan's close. Donovan has his pulled up past his knees with the socks, the leggings not quite coming up there.
Knowing Donovan, though, he's just grown that much since the beginning of the game, and his pants now are that much shorter than what they originally started as. So leadoff runner again is on, hit by a pitch. Off and running he goes, and nice throw, and if he catches that, he's out. Donovan had to get away.
Yeah, great throw by Zane Hill. The pitcher is Reese. He's the one who got hit, and off the first pitch, he was going off of off the move, and it was a good throw by Zane Hill. Donovan's frustrated himself that he didn't squeeze that one and make the tag, because that could have been there for an out. We can't see the bag really from where we are, but just based on the timing of it, looks like there could have been might have had a chance to be an out call.
It was a strike, and so ahead in the count now. And a little further ahead is there's a foul tip back under Zane for strike 2. Grayson was hit by a pitch his first time up. He hit into a fielder's choice back in the first. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and it's popped up. Bunning popped up to Tate, and he feels it for an out. So an easy gimme out there as Grayson pops that bunt right back up to Tate. Not enough of a lead off the bag was Reese to be doubled up. So Branson now, the first baseman. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. There's a shot that wheels around Tate Goodrum. It's going to score the run from second base. The throw is coming in. It's not going to be in time. The runner does not advance to second. Throw comes in, backing it up back here was Tate Goodrum, and just timely hitting again by the Bulldogs.
Yep, that if that ball doesn't hit Tate's glove, Donovan might have somewhat of a shot, but it hit the glove and went, oddly enough, more towards center field, and just got the hit when they needed it, 5-1.
McBride now, he had an RBI single back in the third, and with one out, a chance to add to the damage here in the fourth. Popped up on the infield. It's going to send Juice back to his left. He can't see it coming in as Babb, and he makes the play out in right field going to his left, and Juice gave it a run. He ran out of, I don't think he could see it. The sun is just getting over there enough to where that was high enough. It got into that 3 o'clock sunshine, and
yeah, Juice was running over his left shoulder like a wide receiver that could catch a pass, and he just looked up and he put his arms out. Carter was able to get a bead on it and make a call to make the catch.
So 2 outs now. The runner's still at first base. Only one across and the runner is off, and he is caught in a rundown, and there goes Tate. He's going to get him. And for whatever reason,
I don't think the tag was on him. I think it was about a half step too late maybe on the throw. Tucker was there at the bag, and the tag was a tag back, and I think that runner got just on that back half of the bag to get back in time. Based on what it looked like, and then Tucker didn't have a reaction either.
So that's Branson, the first baseman over there, doing a lot of work to get back to the bag he originally owned. So we'll see if he's going to try to take second here. He does not. Ball is hit weakly to third base and foul. Little dribbler down the line, stays just foul.
That's thankfully for Arkadelphia.
Would have been a tough play.
That was foul. That was would have been a really tough play. At home, you probably have a better angle than we do. I thought that might have hit the batter off of the foot out of the box, but that wasn't the foul call. It was when Wynn fielded that in foul territory behind the bag.
Another foul that's dribbled off to the left side toward the Arkadelphia on deck circle, and 0-2 now is the count, and Tate may be about to pitch his way out of another inning here. Runner at first is getting his lead. He's not going to go. There's a ball hit, and it's scorched out into left field. Coming up with it on a couple of hops is Bell into the cutoff man, and it's a 2-out single. So a couple of singles in the inning and a hit by pitch have led to a run, and 2 runners on now as Garrett White, the shortstop, who's been on twice today. He's been hit by a pitch in the third. He walked in the second. Now with a couple of runners on, one in scoring position at second base, and that's Cole Branson. Rayleigh at first. Nice off-speed pitch for strike one, and
I hope they got sturdy bleachers, because someone is just banging the mess out of them with 2x4s.
Well, and not only that, but whoever's over there doing it is going to have a hard time falling to sleep tonight, because their head is going to be ringing, beating on those 2x4s. 6-4 is the put out as Gavin White grounds out to the shortstop, and so Arkadelphia will get to come up here in the bottom of the fourth, now trailing 5-1. And the kind of innings that Arkadelphia had yesterday, so Arkadelphia had 2 innings yesterday. The third inning was 5-run inning, and then in the fifth was a 7-run inning. So Arkadelphia's got a chance to come back and do some damage. And we'll see the pitcher Reese back out for another inning of work. Not a lot of damage done. He has walked a couple of batters. He's given up a couple of base hits, given up 1 RBI, and he's hit a batter. Other than that, things have fallen pretty well for the lanky right-hander. Is a lot of hard hit balls by the Badgers that just have not found a hole.
Yeah, it's just to this point, it just has not gone Arkadelphia's way. I mean, as bad as it's been, you're only down by 4, and Arkadelphia, has been able to put runs together. And it's been in the late part of games. So, but Reese has done a good job of controlling the Arkadelphia lineup. They haven't been able to get anything going, and when they have had a couple of runners on base, they haven't been able to get them around. And so that was the difference in this game. You have Star City was able to get their runners around, and Donovan gets hit again. He's
That's
like,
the second
oh,
time,
man.
Second time in as many as bats that Witten has caught one off the left shoulder, and he's going to get a little barking from the Star City dugout and gives him a little shimmy shake as he shakes it off on his way down to first base.
This is the one that usually gets hit. It's usually Tucker.
Well, good things happen when Arkadelphia starts the inning off with base runners. We'll see if that holds true here. And the king of hit by a pitch is now in the box for Arkadelphia with a runner on here in the bottom of the 4th.
Oh,
and he's
there
hit.
It goes, yeah.
So now another runner hit, another batter hit, and that ought to get a visit. That ought to get a visit from the home plate umpire. 2 pitches and 2 high inside pitches.
Tucker usually gets hit between the numbers in the back.
Yeah, that one got up pretty dangerously close. Both of those are.
Yeah, that one caught both of them in the elbow. That's what Arkadelphia needs. They need base runners, and KD Young and Ryan Harris have had hot bats of late. Harris has the hit that drove in Arkadelphia's lone run in the second inning. And now Arkadelphia, this is the second time Arkadelphia's had first and second with nobody out today.
And that one hurt. Tucker getting he's got a handful of that left elbow. That one's going to leave a mark, and that one's going to need a little ice right on that elbow and right on that glove arm elbow, which is so important as a first baseman over there.
So, Blake, this is why you stay patient in baseball games too. Obviously, Tollison is the ace for Star City. He went the distance last night. Reese, maybe the number 2 starter. Arkadelphia has gone through its number 2 or 2-3 starter. Whoever the second one is. Carter and Donovan obviously get a lot of those. But if Reese loses it here, where does Coach go next? And so that was a big pitch for him to be able to come back and get a strike on the board. KD's going to have to be patient and really try to extend this, be patient, and have a good at bat.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Arkadelphia has been a very patient team. 357 KD hit during the regular season, 378 on base, and he looks at another ball. So base runners starting to mount up here, and outs are not in the bottom of the 4th for the Badgers. High, that one sails way high, and it looked like we may be seeing the end of Max Reese, as we'll see if he can gather it back under control. But 3 balls and a strike now, and he's in danger of putting all 3 leadoff Badgers aboard here in the bottom of the 4th. Spending a lot of time looking, and there's a shot that's going to be right center field. It's going back. It's going back. Is it out of here? It is not. It's going to hit at the base of the wall. It's going to score 1. Going into third is Tucker, and beating his chest, knowing that he's done it again, is KD Young at second base, and the Badgers have something going here in the bottom of the 4th.
Blake, we talked about this part. 310 down the lines, 335 in the alley, and then it juts out to 385. KD hit that one right to that right center field gap, and it is one of the deepest parts of the park. He goes opposite field, has a lot of power to the opposite field, and he got it going there, and that's what Arkadelphia needed.
Harris now, he scored the Arkadelphia first run on the board with an RBI back in the 3rd inning, and a chance here to pick up a couple more here in the 4th. Juice takes inside, and he calls it a strike, and my goodness. Juice is not one to stand on the plate, and that one spun him around. It was so far inside, and it's a called strike, and Ryan not proud of the call. Out to visit with his pitcher, may have crossed him up a little bit. Either way, he got the call, but starts off Ryan in the hole. 0-1. So coming inside again and getting away with it is Reese that time. First 2 batters he put on, one of which has already scored, and Whitten. Strike 2. And
yeah, that's that high strike, high strike zone, and you're not used to seeing that breaking ball start up that high and then get the call breaking down. I mean, he's consistent. It's just very different from what you're used to seeing.
Ryan goes up the ladder and hits one into left center field. That one's going to get one across. Arkadelphia cuts it to within 1, and it is now 5-4.
Boy, you nailed it. I mean, Juice did too, but you nailed it. He went up the ladder, and that is a 2-pitch, a 2-strike fastball up that a lot of times you see pitchers go after because batters aren't going to be able to catch up to it. But golly, Juice got around on that one, tomahawked that one into the left center field gap, and it was easily readable off the bat, and KD was able to score from second, Tucker from third. 5-4 game.
Juice said, "You're going to call me on those inside pitches. I'll show you. I'll just go up the ladder and get it." And he roped it into left center field for for a no-out RBI single. 2 RBI single.
I don't think that was his best.
Now Juice is over at first base. Still nobody out. Back to the top of the lineup. Couple of fly outs for Tate. He's 0 for 2, and he's due. And he's going to see an outside pitch for ball 1. Badgers making this a contest. They've crawled back to within 1. Still some damage can be done here in the bottom of the 4th as they have started out what could be a really big inning, as they did twice yesterday against Crossett. Pitch is up the ladder and not called. Babb is on deck. He'll see a bat here in the inning. Pop up on the infield, and it's going to get into the sun. Is it out of play? It is out of play as it hits the top of the Arkadelphia dugout.
Yeah, and third baseman was going to struggle with that one anyway. He was looking directly into that sun, and he did not know where it was. He made a great job of not giving up on it and hoping he was going to be able to see it. But thankfully that one was out of play, but not sure if it was going to be able to be caught even if it had not been, or if it even had been in play.
2 balls and a strike to Goodrum. Runner at first base, nobody out. Fouled away, this time to the opposite side. Out of play, opposite field, down the right field line. Juice Harris emptied the bases with a 2 RBI single after an RBI double by Caden Young. 2-2 the count. Taking a step off the back of the rubber is Reese. Reese has gone all the way and is right now the winning pitcher if he can keep the Badgers from tying it up here in the 4th. And swing and a miss, and a rainbow from the catcher is not in time to get Juice, but down goes Tate swinging for the first out of the inning, and Carter Babb now is he's 0 for 2 today.
Third baseman has had some trouble. He's playing deep. Let's see if Coach Lowe puts the bunt on, because even with 2 outs, even with one out, Juice would be standing at third. See what the call is here.
And he's going to do just that very thing. Not enough. He's going to throw it into right field. Scoring is Juice. The ball game is tied. Into second base is Carter Babb. Fist bumps all around in the Arkadelphia dugout, and the Badgers have tied it up here in Malvern. Holy smokes.
You almost saw it setting up. Carter's not he had the good hit last night, but the first two ABs hadn't been great. Productive-wise, he put the bat on the ball, but the third baseman has had some trouble fielding the ball today. He was playing back. The pitcher was going to have to come off the mound and field and throw across his body. And so you almost saw that he wanted to get that bunt to the left side. It was a good bunt. Getting down the line quickly, as he has this season, was Carter forcing a quick throw from the pitcher, and that forced the errant throw and able to tie the ball game up.
So a little something, not sure exactly. Coach Lowe went out and talked to one of the field umpires. Not sure if there might have been something going around with maybe an interference play or something. Not sure, but apparently nothing too serious. And Coach Noble is going to gather up the entire infield and see what the verdict will be on Max Reese, and home plate umpire going to slowly walk out that way and bust up the party, and it looks like Reese's day may be done. So we've got a player out there that seems to be disrobing all the forearm pads and whatever accessories pitchers aren't allowed, and looks like we will have a new pitcher, and that is going to be number 17, Hayden Dean, the third baseman, will now take over for Max Reese here in the fourth. Not sure as to the defensive substitution at third, but looks like Reese is going to remain on the field. So, well, no, it doesn't. He may be going and getting a different glove. Either way, Hayden Dean is going to see the mound here as the book's closed on Max Reese. He does have a runner at second base, and that is the go-ahead run for Arkadelphia. Game is tied up at 5, and Reese cannot get the win at this point, but he can get the loss if the Badgers are to plate Carter Babb here in the bottom of the fourth. So it looks like Reese is going to come back out into the defensive mix for the Bulldogs. We'll see if he replaces, if it's just a one-player switch at third for Dean, who goes to the mound. Dean, another heavy-framed right-hander.
Yeah, coaches have a lot to think about. You know, it's 110 in a day, so I assume those who pitch in game 1 could also continue to pitch in game 2.
Exactly right.
And so I believe Carter ended up around, I think I heard them say 67. Don't quote me on that. I thought I heard that. But so Reese could come back and throw a few. But it's just, you know, how do you manage that as a coach? Now, you can't start thinking about a ton of that in a 5-5 game. You're trying to win a baseball game.
One out now, and the biggest Bulldog killer potentially of all is standing in on the left side, and that's Trip Campbell. He's going to hit one that's going to stay fair, and it was knocked foul but was hit inside of fair territory, and so he gets Babb over to third base, but it's the second out of the inning, and Tripp goes down 3 unassisted here in the bottom of the fourth. JB, chance to keep the inning alive with an RBI potential here, and Babb at third base. He is the go-ahead run for Arkadelphia. Outside, ball
Is that
one.
low? That low. That might, even if that was over the plate.
It's not been a
low
strike.
zone. It's not gonna be a strike. And this is, the first time he's seeing that. You don't get that angle from third base very often.
We'll give you the numbers on Reese between innings. There's a strike. Count even now to JB at a ball and a strike. Badgers have tied it up with 4 runs here in the bottom of the 4th. Big crooked number for Arkadelphia to tie things up here in the regional. Nice block there by the catcher, keeps the run off the board. Count goes 2-1 to the senior left fielder. Carter Babb, the only runner, still on the bags for Arkadelphia. He's at third, 90 feet away from taking the lead for Arkadelphia. Outside and called a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. And
yeah, that was a looked like a good pitch on the outside part of the plate. JB either frustrated with the call or frustrated that he didn't go after that one. Now it's a 2-2 count. Big pitch, big at bat here.
He lined the ball hard to the third baseman his last time up. There's a 2-2 that's outside, runs the count full. And new third baseman, new shortstop for Star City, or at least position changes on defense. 3-2. We'll see if Dean comes. He does. Ball is hit to that new shortstop. He's going to come up with it, field it, make the long throw, and it's high, and he beat the throw. Pulled him off, or he beat it all out.
Yeah,
either way.
A little bit of both. Reese double clutched. He couldn't get he fielded it cleanly, but he couldn't get the ball out of the glove cleanly. He had to double clutch there, which forced him to throw the ball a little high. It was a great stretch by the first baseman. It just pulled him off the bag just a couple of inches, and that allowed JB to be there safe. Great job. That's why you hustle down the line. That's what JB did, and Arkadelphia has the lead.
Put the ball in play, good things happen, and they're doing that here late in the late innings for Arkadelphia. There's the first off-speed pitch we've seen, I believe, from Dean, and so JB is going to E6 and another RBI, and it's the go-ahead one for Arkadelphia. Lou takes outside, ball 2. Pentecost with a runner at first, takes outside and low, nicely blocked up again by the catcher Tollison. He's working hard, as is Hill for the Badgers. No room for error if you're a catcher in this ballpark. Guaranteed 1 on an overthrow and maybe 2, depending on where it skirts down this low-lying backstop. 2 balls and a strike. Pentecost, a chance to further the Badger lead as they've taken it here for the first time of the day in the bottom of the 4th. Two for the senior hot corner from Arkadelphia. Win Pentecost. 339 hitter during the regular season and an RBI machine with 25 during the regular going. Outside, ball 3, run it full. Very patient at bat by Wynn. And Witten is due, and Witten is yet to hit a home run all year, and might just be a good time for one of those. Wynn needs to get on base here, and 3-2 the count. Bell over at first base, driving in the go-ahead run on an error. Low and outside, and JB to second, Lou to first, and DeWitt, QB1, is the trouble now for Hayden Dean, as he has put a couple of runners on. He's responsible for Bell at second. Everybody that's on the bags is a responsibility of Dean, as Reese is no longer in line for the win but could get the loss. Witten now, Bell at second, Pentecost at first. Low pitch, blocked up and held, bounced out in front of the plate. Tucker Johnson on deck. Arkadelphia has batted around in the inning. Donovan was hit by a pitch to start the inning. And there's an outside pitch that might have been low another day, or might have been a strike another day, but it's ball 2 today. And only one bag is open, and that is third. Arkadelphia's dugout coming alive. The 2-befores have stopped.
Yeah, I think they were told to stop by someone with Malvern. Said, "Man, you're killing our bleachers. Quit banging 2-befores in our bleachers.
You're killing our will to ever host another regional with such brutal behavior there." So we're going to get a visit from the catcher to his pitcher and a visit.
That was close. Board says 3-0. Is that correct?
I think so.
I thought that was a that was a
think
tough
that's-
one. That was a tough pitch to be called a ball for Williams there. Man, that we've seen Juice had a strike called on him in that what seemed to be in that spot. That was a tough one. If indeed the count is right, if indeed it's 3-0.
Arkadelphia's dugout has come alive, and we'll see if Witten is taking on the 3-0 pitch. He is not. He swings through it for strike 1. And don't think he missed the sign. He had it verbally right in front of Coach Lowe as they talked about it, and he wanted it, he got it, and missed it. 3 balls and a strike now to Witten.
I think he gave him the home run sign. That's what he was swinging for.
Outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded full of Badgers again, and Mr. Contact is up to bat, and so another.
Badgers have batted around. Donovan Whitten led off getting hit. Tucker Johnson got smoked in the elbow. KD had the double to right center. Ryan tomahawked the shot into the gap in left center.
And it's going to draw a visit again from Coach Noble, and he'll make the slow stroll out to the mound, and don't see any activity in
There's no
the
pin.
bullpen.
It's going to be a position player. This was the slow. This was the slow walk to make sure that A, to stop some momentum, and B, to make sure that we have everything lined up what we're going to do. So it looks like Reese is going to go out to right field. Reese, the starting pitcher, went to shortstop. Now he's going to go to right field. Williams goes back to third base.
Right fielder is Dylan McBride, so could he be the next pitcher?
It's like that's 11.
Yep. Dylan McBride is going to take the mound. Been out in right field today. Another righty. So you called it earlier in the game, Chris. We made mention that deep into playoff baseball, and even a second inning is deep when there's no room for error. You just start getting into folks that you really don't see a lot of during the regular season. Arkadelphia has had to get a couple of innings out of Tate Goodrum. Tate's a senior. He's a guy that, he'd drive the bus if he needed to, I think. He's just one of those guys that, is going to come in, give you all he's got, and that's probably where Coach Noble is right now in his lineup as well.
Yeah, both of these teams, we've said it, I'm probably tired of hearing us say it, but both of these teams are playing another game. After this one at some point, it's either going to be in a championship game or a consolation game. But right now, I think that was more of a Williams just wasn't quite finding the zone, needed to try to go a different route since Arkadelphia has taken the lead, and the hot Tucker Johnson is coming up to the plate and just try to a little different change of pace and also kind of stop that momentum that Arkadelphia has had over the last 5 or 6 batters.
Base is full of Badgers. Jarrett Bell's at third, Win Pentecost at second, and dancing his way back to first base is the always comical having a good time over there is Donovan Witten at first. And Tucker Johnson, senior, all-conference a year ago, with a chance to give Arkadelphia a little bit of a cushion. They've taken the lead back. They've clawed their way back into this with 5 runs in the inning.
You got to expect that if he gets anything right down the middle on the first pitch, he's going to be looking to drive one to right center field. Just kind of go with it.
First baseman is playing deep, but guarding the right field line behind the bag at first. That's opening up a big hole out there in short right center field.
First pitch, breaking ball, caught the zone for strike one. It's a good breaking ball.
And Tucker might just be looking at the same hole that we just spoke of as he fouls the second pitch off with a little inside-out swing that gets back to the netting just behind the plate. He sees it. Second baseman is playing normal depth, and he goes just that way. He might have just missed it a bit, hit it a little too far to the left. That's what he was going for, but he hits it to the second baseman, and he fields it cleanly for the 4-3. But Arkadelphia, man, what an inning. Arkadelphia claws their way back into this one, and they lead it now 6-5 through 4 here in Malvern. You're listening to Arkadelphia Badger Baseball on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how, and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids need to know the dangers and how to avoid them. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids, because when you talk, they hear you.
In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music and we talked. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic. Your honesty gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted in my own life.
And I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, in whatever you do.
Talk, they hear you.
Well, it's a new day for Arkadelphia, for the Arkadelphia Badgers. What a difference in the inning makes as the Badgers come up with a big crooked 5 back in the bottom of the 4th. They've taken the lead here 6-5 as we go to the top of the 5th. It's a brand new ball game. Tate Goodrum still out there on the hump for Arkadelphia as he's into his 3rd inning of work. And Christian Carnell is going to be the leadoff batter here in the inning.
Carnell struck out looking in one of his at-bats on a breaking ball that was much from Carter Babb. It was a lot like that one from Goodrum. He didn't like the called strike 3, and he didn't like that one either. Caught the outside part of the plate based on our vantage point. That's what it looked like it caught anyway.
And he also had that 4-6 double play put out that he hit what we thought was going to get over Ryan Harris's head. Ryan made a tremendous leaping catch and doubled the runner off for a 4-6 double play to stop a big rally in the 3rd inning. 2 balls and a strike.
Outside with that one. Sorry, it was outside of the zone. Probably the head is north and the south, just a little bit too far west on that one, or east, depending on which way you're looking at it.
Outside, ball 3 now. 3 balls and a strike. Any innings you get out of a position player like Tate Goodrum are positive for Arkadelphia, and we'll see if he can steal an out or 2 here in the 5th. And he walks the leadoff hitter. Hayden Dean now. Dean finishing up the inning on the mound for Star City. He's singled and RBI'd back in the third inning and flew out to center in the second. Anticipating the bunt in the grass at third is Pentecost. We'll see. One-run game. We'll see. There's a bite. There's a shot that's going to be third base for one, on to first for the other. Double play, rack 'em up.
Yep, Lou was playing in on the grass. It was a Sunday hop on Saturday afternoon, right to Lou's chest. Good turn from Ryan Harris at second base, and got the 5-4-3 double play.
And so just like that, Arkadelphia, we talked about stealing a couple of outs here. That's just what Tate Goodrum did, was stole a couple of outs right there, inducing a ground ball. Here's Tollison, the catcher. Strike one, and boy, nothing helps your mojo as a pitcher than seeing something like that happen behind you.
Arkadelphia had a big double play last night to get out of an inning when the game was, 2-3 run game. That was a big pitch, good play by Pentecost, Harris, and Johnson.
Man, an Ephus pitch for strike two, and Tollison just shakes his head. He knows that he let that one get by, and Tate.
Now you come back, or you can start one of those breaking balls a little bit lower in the zone, break faster, see if he goes fishing.
And he throws that one low, and it's gobbled up. And after he lets a lollipop pitch like that come by, he's wanting to make amends, and he's patient enough, Tollison that is, to let it go by. Ball in 2 strikes now. Tate looking in, gets his sign, comes set. Glove just under the chin, and fouled out of play down the left side.
Good breaking ball that time. Good adjustment by Tollison, staying with that one, fouling it out, and staying alive.
Leadoff walk is erased on a 6-4-3 double play here in the top of the 5th. That's where we stand. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the third batter of the inning, and so far Tate Goodrum is way ahead here in the at-bat and the inning. Right by him for strike 3. Got him looking. What a performance.
Got a little excitement out of Tate Goodrum on that after that pitch. Got a little double clutch fist bump and a little yell.
And sure,
good to see that one from Tate Goodrum. Love to see that. Just because you don't see, he's real stoic. I mean, he's the fatherly figure of these guys that calm down. But good to see him. A little bit of excitement after that nicely placed 1-2 fastball.
I like to call him the good cop. He's the good cop.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of bad cops in the dugout too, but I won't mention any names. But Tate Goodrum has been a leader since he stepped onto the field. Even as a freshman, he started his freshman year. He's a 4-year letterman, and not only that, but a 4-year starter, and that shows you just why. You can count the number of innings that kid has pitched in high school varsity, probably on 1 or 2 hands in 4 years, and he just came up here and pitched into 3 innings of one run work, basically, that he's just cleaning up.
Well, and let's be honest, baseball is a game where if you don't have it at the plate, you can do it on defense. And Tate has not hit well the last 2 games. He just hasn't hit well the last 2 games. But he's made up for it, or whatever you want to say. That's when if you're not having it at the plate, you can make your impact somewhere else, and that's what Tate's done.
Absolutely, and man, what a job that he's done in relief here for Arkadelphia. KD going to start things off for the Badgers here in the bottom of the 5th. All he's done is doubled in an RBI back in the 4th. Got that Arkadelphia scoring going back in the 4th inning. And speaking of a guy that's going to get playing time in each of his 4 years at Arkadelphia, if he finishes out his career here, which we hope he does as a Badger, he'll be a 4-year starter and a 4-year letterman as well for the Badgers. Behind him is Ryan Harris. Ryan's getting it done offensively and defensively today. He's 2 for 2 from the plate and made a tremendous play at second base to double up and stymie the inning back in the third for the Bulldogs. Back out for another inning of work is Hayden Dean. Hayden Dean has thrown 18 pitches and faced 7 batters.
Starting in for the Badgers, number 25, Katie Young.
Katie starts things off here for Arkadelphia, bottom of the 5th. Badgers leading at 6-5. 4A South Regional from Malvern. Badgers trailed at 5-1. Scored 5 the last inning and fouled back, even it at 1-1's KD. If Arkadelphia wins this game, they'll play around 6:30 tonight. We'll bring you that broadcast here as well and hopefully be here a little longer today. Popped up and back and out of play. KD, strike 2 against 1 ball. Juice Harris on deck and then Goodrum. We'll see here in the bottom of the 5th. One-two count to the Badger sophomore, DH. Here's the pitch. Strike 3. Got him looking, and he didn't like it. It was outside in his eye, but either way, it's second strikeout of the game for KD. So here's Juice Harris. He's singled and RBI'd and doubled and RBI'd. He's been all over the bags today for Arkadelphia. 1 out here in the inning. He's going to poke one at the shortstop. He gloves it, comes up clean across the diamond, and not in time. Juice beat it out. Man, what a hustle.
Wow, what a hustle down the line by Ryan. Shortstop made a nice, clean play. I was wondering if it was going to be close on the throw out of his hand, and Juice just beat that out. You don't get that call very often, so it must have been really obvious.
And that's a new shortstop over there.
I think that's the one that started the game at shortstop.
It is.
And then after the pitches changes, he ended up back at shortstop now.
So Juice Harris wheels himself to first base, and the pitcher, McBride, with a hard throw over there. I think that was a throw out of frustration that Ryan beat that throw out, but infield single for Ryan Harris. Goodrum is 0 for 3 today, and he does swing at that, but it got him on the arm.
They're going to appeal, and he's going to say foul ball. At least appeal. He's going to at least appeal and talk to the first base umpire to see if it was a swing.
So the rule is, even if it does hit him, if he swings at it, it's a strike.
Yeah.
So the appeal is going to be the decision maker. I don't think there's a doubt that the ball hit him.
Yeah, they called a swing.
So he did swing at – it might have been a defensive swing, but it did hit him on the inside of his forearm. But it's a swing, and so –
yep.
Tate with a little scowl back at the – oh. Badger's starting to show a little emotion here, a little fight. And Tate fouls one over at his cheering section there on the right side.
Yeah, I think the home plate umpire knew it hit him, but I think he called a swing on the bat, and I think Coach Lowe was going to ask it. You know, that's a tough one for the home plate umpire to see. I think that's what he was asking. Would you at least appeal down to the first base umpire? So it's no doubt that it hit, and I think it was borderline on whether he swung or not. I mean, I think I could see them saying, yes, he swung on that.
No balls and 2 strikes here. Harris drawing a lot of attention. He pops one up, and he's going to have to put the brakes on. This one's going to get into foul territory, and it stays up for Branson to get over there and make the play in foul territory. Scurrying back to first base is Juice. And
yeah, hit and run situation, and that good running by Ryan Harris to realize it, be able to put the brakes on and keep his feet about him. If he slips down, you never know, but he was able to keep his feet about him and get back because that ball was fouled so high in the air and took the first baseman far enough off the bag.
And I don't think anybody was covering first base. The first baseman made the play, and then it looked like either the second baseman or pitcher, that's a pitcher's cover there. I don't know that he even covered. If he did, I didn't see him, but either way, safely back at first base. And they're going to continue to try to get the runner at first, and Harris, and Babb now is yet to see a pitch, and he gets under one and sends it out into center field. Coming in and settling under it and making the play is the center fielder out there, Grayson, for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Badgers go quietly here in the bottom of the 5th, still leading 6-5 here in Malvern. And we hope if you've had a chance to check out the new Badger app from Mascot Media, we would love for you to do that. Go on your App Store or your Google Play and download Arkadelphia Badgers, and you'll see the little Badger head pop up there, and hopefully we'll be able to you'll be able to have that for this afternoon's broadcast if the Badgers are able to hang on, and then into the state tournament.
Yeah, and let's kind of, no matter what happens here, whether it's the next game or the championship game, we'll stop the stream and restart it because we have games set up for both times. And so if you are tuning in right now at the end of this game, whenever it ends, we're already 2 hours. Well, we played some long baseball games.
Yeah.
We're at 2 hours and about 5 minutes of this one, but a little over 2 hours. But we will stop this stream and start another one whenever it does start. So just if you're wanting to tune in to the second game tonight, if it happens to be the next game or the last game, we'll stop it and restart the stream.
So here's all Tate Goodrum's done. He's thrown 36 pitches. He's faced 22 batters. He replaced Carter Babb. Carter threw 67 and faced 32 batters. So Tate is actually on the record for the win right now if Arkadelphia were to hang on. And so 2 starting pitchers that did a lot of work for Arkadelphia and Star City, both not eligible for the win today. So back to the top of the lineup we go. Max Reese, he started the game on the mound, and we'll see what he does at the plate. And he was hit by a pitch his last time up. Take strike 1. Nice breaking pitch from Tate. So, long way to go here for Arkadelphia. Top of the 6th we go, so 6 more outs. Arkadelphia, at this point of the game, you start counting outs. With a 1-run lead, though, you certainly want to add to it when it comes up your time at the bottom of the frame, but starting off very well here is Tate Goodrum. So where do we go after Tate? If Tate's not able to go, do you come back into the normal fray of things maybe with a Donovan Witten, or do you go a little wild card again maybe with a JB?
Don't know. I don't know what the plan. I don't know how I would try to devise a plan.
Strike 3. I don't know that it's even going to be an issue as Tate keeps getting better and better as he goes, and
that's one of those high breaking balls. That's a high part of the zone. The umpire has been consistent all day. I mean, that's what you want from an umpire. You've got to be consistent. And he's been very consistent with those, with the strike zone, the north and the south. Obviously, we can't tell the inside outside, but I'll give it to him. Pitchers have to adjust, and batters do too. But he's been consistent with that strike zone.
Grayson, the batter now. He popped up to the first baseman. His last time up, he's been hit by a pitch and grounded into a fielder's choice. Strike two, and staying with a heavy diet of breaking balls is Tate Goodrum, and he's staying ahead of the hitters and keeping them off balance. Now 0-2 to Grayson.
Tried to throw that little chicken wing in there, that left elbow, to try to.
Yeah, how about that? May not be as willing to throw that chicken wing in there against Donovan Witten. 86-mile-per-hour fastball.
I know I wouldn't. I'm not throwing it in there against anything.
May come back as a drummy without the, what do you call it, the flat.
We can't be talking about food right now, Blake.
I know. It's been a long time since that. Been a long time since those windy nuggets on the way here. We'll say this, though, about the atmosphere here at the ballpark and the great job that Malvern's done in putting on this. Great food. They've done a really good job keeping the ball games on track. Nice job with the facilities. Other than not balancing out the cheering section for the Badgers, they've done a superb job. Nice job, Jace Roberts and all of his crew that has worked so hard. And you know, it's not easy to host a tournament that you're not playing in.
No, it's
and
not.
We've been there before.
Yep.
And Nashville will be there in a couple of weeks. And it's just not it's not easy to do, but they've done a great job doing it.
And you've got the softball that started behind us today as well. It's in the first round game since the rain pushed them back to today.
Fouled away again, and Grayson continues to hang on and battle his way here, staying still behind in the count 1-2, but staying alive here in the top of the sixth.
This game started around 1:25.
Actually started ahead of schedule. About 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's not going to happen for the next game, I bet. Well, it's 4. No, it's not going to happen for the next game. The game was supposed to start at 4 o'clock.
Tate still staying even now in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's put one away, looking here in the top of the sixth and looking to get a second out here in the inning. And he pops this one foul and out of play again off to the right side, and Grayson doing a good job battling.
I think our stream just had to restart. So if you're apologize for anything, it's the first time we've noticed that. But we'll monitor that. I'll monitor that while Blake talks baseball.
2-2. Oh, a hard pitch to take, but he did, and it's 3-2 now.
Yeah, I think we're back now. I don't think we haven't had any different batters since I noticed that we lost it. So still in the same situation with one out, top of the sixth, 3-2 count now from Goodrum.
Grayson's the batter. Here he comes set for the 3-2, and it buckles his knees. An inside breaking pitch is the second strike of the inning. And Grayson turns around and mean mugs the umpire to no avail. It's 2 outs in the inning. The Badgers now with 4 outs to go here in the semis. 3 strikeouts in a row for Tate Goodrum. He struck out the last batter of the 5th, and he struck out the first 2, all 3 looking on knee-buckling breaking balls.
Well, and that's in that inside part of the zone that we've seen him call strikes on a lot of the day.
And there's one that's hit to the shortstop, falling and getting up, not having a play over there is Witten, and he had to go to his right. That was a hard hit ball that didn't give him much time to get there. And moving down the line, Cole Branson is safe with an infield hit with 2 outs here in the inning. Dylan McBride, he flew out to the right fielder back in the 4th inning. He had a single and RBI in the 3rd and struck out swinging in the 1st.
Again, sorry for the stream knocking off. For some reason lost connection, but it looks like we're good to go now. Still here in the top of the 6th. 2 outs now.
Badgers hanging on to a 1-run lead. There's a ball that's poked right at Witten. He should have a play. He's instead of stepping on the bag, he flips it to Harris, who wasn't ready for it. And it looked like Witten was just going to be able to beat him to the bag. I think he could have, and it's an error on the shortstop, and it's going to allow now another base runner in the inning.
Those are the things that come back to haunt you, unfortunately. And Tate and the defense behind him have to put that one ahead or behind and make the play on another ground ball. But, yeah, I thought for sure that I guess Donovan was running behind the bag, but I thought he was running right to the bag.
3 for 3 is Rayleigh. He's at the dish now, and he's been the most dangerous Bulldog of all today. And that's getting the Star City crowd back into the game. There's a shot out into left field. Coming in and making the go at it and making the catch is JB out in left field. He got a good jump on it, and ball hung up just long enough for him to make about 10 strides toward the infield, and he puts the 6th inning away for Star City.
Well, you mentioned it. He got a good read on that ball right off the bat. He was playing him right in that gap, and then he got a good read off of it, and what made what could have been a potential game-tying hit an easy catch.
So the Badgers are 3 outs away. We're going to take a break here. We're going to come back to Morrison Park after these words. You're listening to Arkadelphia Badger Baseball 2022.
Oh, hey, bud.
Oh.
Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
It's a school night. With Gary and Todd?
Yeah.
Not sure about those two. I've been meaning to ask you. This is tougher than I thought. Is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
I hope not, because alcohol can lead you to say things and do things that you really wish you hadn't. Isn't this what you're supposed to say?
I know.
So if any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you.
Ryan.
Yeah?
So start the conversation even before they're teenagers.
Good idea.
For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
We're back in Malvern as taking the mound again is Dylan McBride. And it's a nail biter here, Chris. Arkadelphia used a big 4th inning to get right back in this thing and take the lead. 6-5, that's where we stand as the Badgers are 3 outs away from putting this one away, but they'll have another at bat in the bottom of the 6th as they are the home team, and they're going to get things started off here with a trip.
Bottom of the 6th and you want to close it out, you do have another. That line score says for Star City 5 runs on 8 hits, 3 errors. For Arkadelphia, 6 runs on 3 hits and 2 errors. I don't know if that 3 is correct, but regardless, Arkadelphia hasn't had a lot of base hits. You know, you put the ball in play and make things happen, and that's what happened. But I think more than 3 just base hits. See what they do with Tripp. Tripp has not had a lot to hit in today's game.
He has not. He's walked a couple of times. He gets one there, and he gets around on it a little too far and almost puts it in the culvert holding the tarp.
That was I think he got around on that one, Blake. What do you think?
Almost got a hole-in-one out there in that
did.
big mouth culvert. Might be something spooky living in there.
Play on Steph Curry's Holy Moly.
Yeah, maybe something spooky living in that thing.
Well, we know it's been out.
It's been used.
It's been used. It's been used a lot the last few weeks. And So it's not like it's been sitting there for a long time.
Tripp now ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. He looks at 2 outside pitches after that first foul off, that first foul ball, and so JB's on base, on deck, and the outside is called for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. We'll see if he gets Tripp to hit anything here with a pitch to burn. And he does, and Tripp just misses it.
Now you
out
hear
of play,
a collective
and
heads up to the softball field.
It's going to get over there into the ladies.
You know, if you haven't been to Morrison Park, the softball field is behind the third base dugout and very well within foul ball range.
3-2, and he got him swinging, and you don't see that a lot. Tripp goes down swinging here to start the inning. JB is 0 for 2. He did reach on an error and does have an RBI back in the 4th inning. Grounding 1 out, hit to the third baseman. Outside, ball 1. Pentecost is on deck behind him. We will see him in the inning. 1 out. Here's the pitch. Fouled off the high pitch. And JB apparently learning from some of those high pitches that have been called strikes. He doesn't let that one get away, but
no, I mean, most times you think you just swung at ball 2, and you might have, but you just never really know.
Behind in the count now, even in the count, a ball and a strike. JB pops that off-speed pitch back out of play over our heads. Arkadelphia would love another insurance run or 2 here as we go into the 7th inning. 1 out now here in the bottom of the 6th. Again, fouling it back. It stays alive. He's seen a few pitches now. We'll see if he can catch up with Grayson here. McBride here. Down 1-2. Grayson looks in, comes set under the chin. Here's the pitch. Hit out into left field for a base hit, a 1-out base hit, and JB's on for the 2nd time today.
Fountain Lake coach just walked by. A long day, boys. I said, yeah, and we're not halfway done yet either.
We hope not anyway, folks.
Yeah.
We're glad to be here, and we hope to be here a little longer. Things looking okay right now for Arkadelphia, but
we hope to be here a lot later tonight than the 4 o'clock game would be. But yeah,
could.
This is we're going to be close to 3 hours by the time this one's over.
Here's Lou. He's going to hit one deep to center field. Settling under it and making the play and running Bell back to first is the center fielder out there, Grayson. He's been there all day. And he makes that one look easy in front of the batter's eye and the American flag out in straightaway center. Donovan Witten has been on 3 times, but not because of his bat, because of his big body, as he's been hit by a pitch twice and walked once. Witten is officially 0 for 0 today. Swinging at a first pitch strike there. Johnson on deck if he's to reach. Swing and a little bit of a tip strike into the mitt for strike 2, and he might be on it if he sees that again. We'll see if he does. It's 0-2 now, and not sure if he'll see another fastball at 0-2. We'll see if he goes outside, which is where I would be, and he does. High and outside, ball one. Witten's able to lay off.
Yeah, it's a good pitch. Great pitch. Great 0-2, 2-out pitch. Because if he does swing at that, he's not going to be able to do anything with it. Great 0-2 pitch. Good discipline by Donovan.
Still a hole there on the right side as the first baseman is holding Bell on, who has a very modest lead at first. 2-2 now, again high and outside, and McBride running out of pitches to throw that. He's not gotten him to fish. We'll see if he comes inside now and tries to handcuff Witten. And he does, and Witten takes it out into left field. So
what a boy, Donovan.
Nice, patient, easy swing, chokes up a little bit, goes down and fishes it out. A low inside pitch, just like what we thought he might do, and he sends it over the third baseman's head into left field for a 2-out single. So now runners at first and second. Tucker Johnson, the hitter.
Great AB from Donovan, again 0-2. Took some off of it, was patient. Good discipline, and then the next one is in the zone. Just kind of put the bat on the ball. He's strong enough to get it over the third baseman's head into left field.
Tucker hit twice in the fourth inning. He was hit by a pitch and grounded to the second baseman, trying to find that big hole over there on the right side, and he just missed it back in the fourth in his second AB, and he takes strike one here.
It's the lowest strike we've seen. Lowest strike we've seen called today. That was right at the knees.
You know, I don't think Arkadelphia's had a pass ball. I don't think they've been able to reach another bag on a pass ball. We'll see. And Tucker, again, trying to hit that right side. That time he's a little too far to the right.
Yeah, boy, he was trying to go to that gap in the right side of the infield and just couldn't quite get around soon enough.
You know, the mark of a good softball player, not the home run hitting type, but is being able to find those holes in the defense, and especially with 4 outfielders in men's softball. But Tucker is bringing that same approach to baseball here as he's trying to find a hole to hit it into. Outside, and almost got my wish on that pass ball. As good job out there by Tollison, the catcher, is sliding out and keeping it in play. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tuck. Long look from McBride. Pitch is right back up the middle, and there's a big hole there. JB is going to round third. He is being waved in. The throw is going to come in. He will slide in head first. The runner goes to third. Tucker with a big fist pump at first base, and the Badgers have one more insurance run here in the bottom of the 6th.
Boy, give it to Donovan Witten, too. Donovan rounded second, held up just enough to see where that throw was going, and when he saw the center fielder throwing home, that was the no, it's not the starting pitcher, I don't think, out there, but he saw that throw coming all the way home, and Donovan didn't break stride, and he got to third, and so that's a big insurance run, and now you have Donovan at 90 feet away. Good base running by Donovan, obviously from JB, and what a hit by Tucker to give another insurance run for Arkadelphia.
KD struck out a couple of times, but that big RBI double.
Take your pass ball right here.
Back in the 4th. Time called as KD steps out. Gathers himself, gives a little shoulder shrug. He's back in the box. McBride, we'll see if he comes at KD here with Badgers at the corners. 2 outs now. Bottom of the 6th, Badgers get an insurance run, and he gives him an off-speed pitch that gets him off balance and swinging for strike 1.
Did you hear me? We'd take your pass ball here, Blake.
I'd love it.
We would definitely take it.
I'd love it. Put a runner at second base, score another, and
8-5 sounds a whole lot better than 7-5.
Yes, sir. Here's the pitch to KD, and he just hits one high. That is, with 2 outs on the board, is not going to get down, and it's not going to get the run home. But Badgers do get 1 here in the bottom of the 6th and put a little distance. It's now 7-5 as they're 3 outs away from a trip to the championship game later this evening. So we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it here for just I'll tell you what. We're going to go ahead and take a 30-second break. We'll be back here for the final inning of action from Morrison Park. The 4A South Region, Arkadelphia leading 7-5. You're listening to Badger Baseball.
In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music and we talked. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic. Your honesty gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted in my own life.
And I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, in whatever you do.
Talk, they hear you.
Top of the 7th, Arkadelphia 7, Star City 5. Star City needs 2 to extend it, 3 to take the lead. Arkadelphia trying to close this one out. Tate Goodrum back on the mound for the Badgers, and he has been effective in his 52 pitches that he's seen in these couple of innings, and he'll try to throw it up there, let his defense work, and keep Star City off the board and put this one in the books for the Badgers. Star City, on the other hand, try to get things going. Gavin White will be 6, 7, 8 for Star City.
Gavin White his last time up in the 4th inning. Hit into 6-4.
Clean fielding defense behind Tate is what the Badgers need here in the top of the 7th.
If Tate can pitch to contact, you've got the bottom of the lineup up, and they've not been very effective so far. A couple of base hits, but also a couple of double plays hit into. So bottom of the lineup here for the Bulldogs, not been the strongest today, and Tate draws it even now with a ball on the strike. You know, can't stress enough that getting innings of work out of position players on a day like today is so important, as Arkadelphia has potentially got one more entire game, and pitcher starting to run low on.
Yep. That's a good pitch from Tate on the 1-1. Is a great discipline by White not to go after that one. To bring the count 2-1, and Coach Lowe's going to come out and talk to Tate.
So the infield will join him, and we'll see if Tate's got any more gas in the tank. I'm sure this is just more or less a defensive alignment situation, knowing where to be and what the score is.
Looks like he's also talking to Zane Hill and Tate Goodner to make sure they're both on the same page. You mentioned Tate hasn't pitched much, so he and Zane have not worked together other than bullpens, and that's a little bit different than pitching in the 7th inning of a regional semifinal game.
So while we're here, let's talk about the city of Star City a little bit. I don't have a lot of trivia. A lot of stuff has not gone on in Star City. There was a movie in 1992. It was a police thriller called One False Move. It starred Bill Paxton and Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay.
What was so important about that in regards to Billy Bob Thornton?
First time he was nominated for an Oscar?
Nope. That was his first big break, period, in show business, was that movie. Now, that movie cost, there's a ground ball hit at Witten. He's going to come up, make the strong throw. Is he in time? He is. 2 outs away, the Badgers are from the championship.
It was a nice job by Donovan of making that throw. Watching him, he took a couple of extra steps, and I heard a collective big breath from those behind us, but he also knew who his runner was and knew that he had an extra step to make a good throw, and that's what he did to get that big, all-important first out.
Absolutely. Christian Canal now is the batter. We'll get back to our story here in a second. Tate working quickly.
Start him off with a breaking ball, try to get him to go after that. It's another one of those breaking balls that starts breaking just before it gets to the plate, and it's not going to cross the zone in this umpire strike zone.
Here's the 1-0. It's popped up out into shallow center field. Going back is Witten. Coming in is Campbell. He makes the play, and it's a can of corn for Trip Campbell for second out of the inning. Yeah, the movie, One False Move, Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, Cinda Williams. That was Billy Bob's first big break. His big movie that really sent him over the top was in 1996, the movie Sling Blade.
Sling Blade, there you go.
From Billy Bob Thornton right here in Malvern, Arkansas.
Foul ball out of play. Can you name a college football coach born in Star City that has been, I'll give you one clue. He's lived in Arkadelphia a long time, and he's an active college head football coach in Arkadelphia. Todd Knight, native of Star City, Arkansas.
How about that? One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and not a bad football coach either.
I had to get that one in before I was thinking of trivia last night on the way home. I said, I got to try to come up something with Star City, and I think Coach Knight's what I had.
Well, Jake Knight was a member.
Everybody.
Yeah, and son Jake Knight was a member of that Badger state championship run in 2013 and 14. They lost a three-peat to the Star City Bulldogs in 2015, and about to get a little retribution here.
Man, that was a 1-1 breaking ball that just buckled him, so now 1 ball, 2 strikes. So close, but still a long way to go.
Top of the 7th. And Tate was running off the mound. He was going the wrong direction, but he was running off of the mound, no doubt. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Hayden Dean.
He wanted that one.
He did, and Dean had some time on the mound for Star City today. Here's the 2-2. And it's fouled back and out of play.
You hear the spikes behind us. Fountain Lake is making their way behind the Arkadelphia dugout, ready to take Arkadelphia's place. I hope they're right. But when stuff like that starts happening, you're like, oh, wait a minute, guys. Wait.
Well,
we still got a long way to go. We got another strike to get.
I do too, and the good thing about it, we can leave our equipment right here because Fountain Lake does not have a broadcast team that I know of. There's a ball that's fouled away. That would have been ball 3, and Dean fouls that one out of play over our heads. As Chris said, we are going to stop between breaks. We'll have to enter into a new portal on the app, or if you're listening online, watching online, you will have to enter into a new portal as we will be on a different stream. 1 out away here, and there's a ball that's a big bouncing ball that's hit on the hop to Witten. He taps the glove, goes across. In time, the ball game is over. Arkadelphia is in the championship game as they complete the 2 games so far with a 7-5 win over the number 2 seed Star City Bulldogs, and it'll be the Monticello Billies and the Arkadelphia Badgers 1-1 in the championship game, sometime probably in the neighborhood of, I'd say, 7:30, maybe even later.
Yeah, I think this game will probably start a little after 4:30. I don't think anybody plays as long as games as Arkadelphia has in this tournament. But, the stream is set to begin at 6 o'clock, but we'll push that back as we know more. If you're not here and you're tuning in, you can check the some Badger Athletics Facebook page. We'll try to keep that updated and see if we can't keep everybody updated on what time that will play. If you are in Arkadelphia or close and able to make it, get in your car and drive up I-30. And you got a little bit of time. Arkadelphia versus Monticello, it looks like somewhere around maybe 6:30 at the earliest, probably closer to 7. Scheduled to be 6. But this game's not going to start till after 4:30, so I don't see it happening there.
So Tate Goodrum gets the win for the Badgers. He threw 65 pitches, and not a bad day for Goodrum. He had 1 run on 4 hits. He had 1 earned run. He walked 1, struck out 4. So a great game in relief for Tate Goodrum. The loss was charged to Reese. He threw 3 1/3, gave up 6 runs on 3 hits, 3 of which of those runs were earned. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Arkadelphia with a big day at the plate late in the latter innings. Let's see, we'll go Goodrum, did not have a hit. He struck out 1 time. Babb with a hit. Campbell walked a couple of times. Jay Bell had a hit and scored a run, a hit for Pentecost. He also scored a run. Donovan Witten with a hit. He walked and scored a run. Tucker Johnson had a hit, an RBI. He scored a run. K.D. Young had an RBI on a hit, and he scored a run. And Ryan Harris, with 2 hits in the ball game, led all Badgers. He scored a run and had 2 RBIs. He's your offensive player of the game, Ryan Harris. And I tell you what, Chris, for whatever it's worth, you've got to take your hat off to Tate Goodrum. He came in and did a job he doesn't do very often, and he just couldn't ask for more.
No, you couldn't. In a game where you really didn't want your next starter, Donovan Whitten, to really have to throw any pitches, Coach Lowe goes to Tate Goodrum. And, boy, he dealt really, really good job by Tate coming in there and shutting Star City down and getting the win. And that's what Arkadelphia had. And, Blake,
great
got a
stuff.
regional championship game later tonight, Bubba.
We do. This has been a long time coming. You know, Coach Lowe got that monkey off his back yesterday with that first postseason win, and now it seems like it's just back to business for the Badgers as they prepare for that big game, championship game tonight. You know the Billies will bring it. Arkadelphia will as well. We're going to take a break right now for a couple of hours, watch this consolation game, and be back to bring you Badger baseball after a while here from Morrison Park. You're listening to Badger Baseball on www.arkadelphiabadgertv.com. So long for the time being from Malvern.